Hi y'all, I'm going to share what's in my cedar chest, but I got to get rid of all this stuff that's up here. So let me move it. This cedar chest is my husband had before we got married, and it came with a dresser, two dressers, different sizes, but all the same style. He traded it for a shotgun. He was single. He wanted the gun more than he wanted the furniture. Okay, this doll made from a bed sheet. I think that came from my landlord. She had made it. Her shoes. I'm sure my oldest daughter probably wore these. Then I probably put my son in them. And my youngest daughter. And this little kitty right here belonged to one of my children. Toys right here. I had bought these for my son. You could get these toys once a month, and they were to help your children develop along the way. And cute little hiking boots. My husband, when my son was 2 years old, he decided on Thanksgiving Day, or maybe it was the day after, that he was going to take my son to Sears to buy a pair of shoes. Well, he, after he came back from shopping, he said, I'll never do that again. It was because it was, Thanksgiving weekend, Black Friday, so many people in the stores. You know, I, he and I didn't know about that, but he said never again. But I kept those little shoes. Those were hard earned. My mother bought these when she was in England. They have little, I think like a little flower pattern on them. It's hard to tell. But she brought those home for my oldest daughter. And I've only got one of these. I'll put that with the little toys. We did homeschool, but our homeschooling group started a brownie chapter. And this is my oldest daughter. She was in brownies. That's her little shirt and her little jumper. I don't know why I keep these things. I guess sentimental value. And her little tie. And of course her, whatever you call this, a badge holder. This thing you wear over your chest with her different badges. I've thought different times about, getting like a shadow box and putting them in there. But I don't know that it would make a difference. But anyway, oh, and another pair of little socks that my mother got when she went to uh, England. They're kind of like a little pretty knit kind of sock. The place that my husband and I used to rent, the landlady told me I could go up in the attic of the duplex where we lived, and I could just get anything I wanted. They had furniture up there. They used to rent to Navy personnel, and a lot of times, they kept decided not to take things with them. So I found this up there, pretty. It's not in style, of course, but you don't see handiwork like this anymore. And this little dress, my mother's sister bought this for my oldest daughter. I think she got it on one of her many trips around the world. And then my oldest daughter, this is some of her practice sewing. Here's some more toys, and those developmental toys I got for my son. Little ball with Winnie the Pooh characters. My oldest daughter wore this dress at the wedding of one of her aunts. Now, she wore it that day, and it hasn't been worn since. This little dress, oh my goodness. This one, I guess it's made of satin. My mother made this for me in 1963. I was like 9 or 10 years old. And at our school, we would have a carnival every year. And I was chosen as the princess for that year. The older grades had the king and queen, and I was the princess, and the little boy from my same grade was the prince. And that was the underdress, and this was the one that went on top. It's kind of, I don't know, I'm not good with material like chiffon or something like that. And then there was this bow that went around it. Sweater. A sweater from when it was my cheerleading sweater. I was a cheerleader in the 9th grade at my high school. In our area, you went to the grammar school. I went to a grammar school for 8 years. And then you would go to the high school. Well, I was voted, as a cheerleader, and I was the only one from the surrounding grammar school. All the other girls had already been in this, in the schools that were in that area where the high school was. I was out in the country, and I got picked. But I only cheered during the football season. I got kicked off the squad because of conduct and grades. So, I didn't get to cheer during the basketball season. Oh, and here was the vest. I wouldn't even try it on, because I weighed when I was in high school, I was like 5'8", 5'9", and weighed about 120 pounds. And here is my cheerleading skirt. Our colors were black and gold. My mother made this skirt. She could sew anything. And she also made that vest, and they sent all of them off, to have them monogrammed. Okay. Another little something for my children. It's a little puppet. Little dog. Hello, how are you? And this, my oldest daughter. This was her first. She learned to sew, and she made this jumper. I told you we homeschooled, so I can sew, and I can sew very nice, but I don't like to sew. I really dislike it very much. But my sister was much like my mother. She could sew anything. And so I asked her if she would give my oldest daughter sewing lessons, and she did. All right, now this is my dress that I made. I took home ec for 4 years. Do they even do home ec anymore? I don't know. But this was the dress that I made. This is a polyester material. It's what we called back then a midi dress. It went right below the knees. And I remember going and picking out the fabric for this outfit, buying the pattern, looking through all the patterns and everything, and picking out the buttons and, the zipper and all that. And so this was from the 12th grade. Here's the cuffs for those that are interested in sewing. That was the other side of the fabric. It's not lined, but it's a very warm dress. But there's no way I could wear that now. But my teacher gave me she graded me with a 99. She said, I would have given you 100, but nobody's perfect. So I can sew. I just don't like to. Okay. And this right here is one of my favorite dresses from high school. This would be about 1970. It's a polyester, navy blue at the top, and then this pattern down at the bottom. And it hit me about mid-thigh. And it looked good on me. But my mother bought this for me. It was not one of her homemade dresses. She made most of the clothes that my sister and I wore. But every once in a while, she'd take us to the department store, like once a year, right before school started, and she would, buy us a couple of things. And she made all of our winter coats, with the bound buttonholes and lined and everything. Okay, now, this is something my grandfather brought back from one of his trips to Mexico. He loved going to Mexico. I don't know why, but he loved it down there, and he brought that back. And he passed away in 1978. So this is, he bought this, I don't know, about 1968 or 69, something like that. Another stuffed toy, little dog. I wonder what my children will do with all these things. I guess they'll just open up the trash bag and throw them all in. Now, this is a dress that my mother made for herself. She took a trip to Hawaii. Her niece, my cousin, got married that year. And after the wedding, my mother and her sister and some of the family went to Hawaii. And this was the dress that she wore. And there are some photos of her in this dress. And I don't know, after my mother died, I saved a few little things, Okay, baby blankets. I pulled them all out so I could put them back in where they belonged. So I can pack this thing back. Okay, this one was handmade. I don't remember who made it. But most of the blankets I got when my oldest daughter was born. And of course I used them, with my son and my youngest daughter. Another homemade blanket. I want to say my sister made this one. Oh no, not sure. You know, I used to remember every little detail about where I got them and who made them and all of that. This one was another homemade blanket, and it was made, and I remember this one. This one was made by this lady. Her husband and my husband worked together doing construction, and it was when my husband was out of work for about 3 years, and he would just take any job he could get, you know, putting a roof on a house or building, I mean, whatever he could. And I remember the man's name was Buddy. You know, a lot of men in the South are called Buddy. And Folks was their last name. But when I was pregnant with my youngest daughter, my husband was working with Buddy, and his wife made that blanket. And I thought it was so sweet. Now this one, I think maybe I got this. It might have been at Goodwill or something, but it's got a zipper down the side, and you can just put your baby down in there like a little sleeping bag. Another one, I don't remember where it came from. Another little blanket. But I made good use of all those with all three kids. These are just some of the what I thought were special little clothes. Now this one, being blue, I dressed my son in this one. This little onesie. I mean, and it's still in good shape. Right. My friend Ramona gave me this for my oldest daughter. Ramona had a little boy, and she just loved buying little things for my oldest daughter, because she just thought my daughter was just so pretty, you know, dark hair and a little sweater. I love little baby sweaters. They're so cute. Okay, now this is the little coat that goes with that little sleeping bag blanket that I showed you. So, you know, if you lived in a very cold climate, this would be perfect. I mean, it's cold here in West Tennessee, but I don't think it's cold enough for to bundle a baby like that. And this little outfit was hand sewn, and I think it was a friend of ours who made this. Can't remember. And this little jumper, I saved it because it was cute. This little dress. This little dress was made for my oldest daughter. My mother made it. And she used the same pattern that she had used to make me a dress when I was little. And I was born in 1954. So she had kept the pattern that long, and she made this little dress. Let's see here. Oh, now this one was special. These little shorts. It's a kind of a pinkish coral color. And my aunt, my mother's sister, bought this for my oldest daughter. My aunt and her family spent a lot of time in Hawaii, and she bought this and brought it back for my oldest daughter. And I got it got wet, and I didn't, it was a long time before I washed it. And when I got ready to wash it, it had mold all over it. Oh, I was horrified. And I thought, how am I going to get that out? Well, I ran the sink full of water and put a little bleach in there and dipped the dress in there and kept swishing it around until all that mold left. And then I rinsed and rinsed and rinsed this, and so it got all the mold out without, taking the color away. Oh. And this was another little dress that Ramona bought for my oldest daughter. And another aunt bought this little jumper, like overalls, overalls for my oldest daughter. Some kids' clothes are just so cute. Now this is something my sister made. I think it was my sister or my mother. This little dress right here, using an old pattern from the 50s. You see it's got the little, it's not smocking, but, little, pleats or whatever, little lace around the edge. And she even made little panty things, and it has plastic on the inside, because the daughter wasn't potty trained yet, so she made that. Now this is another little dress that I believe my mother made this. It's pink with white polka dots, or I think that's Swiss material, with a little collar and a little lace on it. Another little jumper. I would think maybe my sister made this one. Okay, now this is a bonnet, and I remember somebody made this, and I can't remember who it is, but I asked them to make it for me so I could wear it, when I went outside, because we had a garden, and I needed something to put on my head, but I'm terrible about wearing hats and such when I go outside, But it works really good. Keeps the sun off the back. Got a nice wide brim on top. I could go around wearing that and somebody would think I'm of a certain religious order or a very old woman. Oh wait, I am an old woman. I'll be 71 this year. But you know, I don't feel old. Okay. Somebody bought a cute little bib, and that might have been me. And then you know, cross stitch it. A little hat. Now, all of my children wore this little hat. It's a nice warm little hat. This is another one. Ramona bought this little shirt, lightweight, good for summer. And somebody, I'm not sure, it's got a little smocking on it, but somebody handmade that. I think again that was Ramona buying that for my oldest daughter. Another little pair of overalls. Another cute little sweater, little pullover sweater. I mean, I got rid of a lot of clothes, you know, but some of them I just kept because they were just so cute, or because my mother or sister, you know, made the dress. Another cute little dress. I think Ramona bought that. And this is a cute little outfit. Again, a cute little sweater and matching pants. Ah, this little dress. I remember this dress. My sister made this one. It's pink corduroy. She put my daughter's initials here. Nice little warm dress. And this little outfit right here was it was a little onesie with pants, and I dressed my son in that one. With him being the middle child, you know, I did save some from my oldest daughter, but you know, I didn't want to dress him in pink. Okay, another little dress that my sister made. Just a simple little pattern, little lace around the collar, little tie in the back. The sleeves with a little, like a little ruffle on there. You know, if I was a quilter, I might say to myself, well, make a quilt. Use a quilt. Or make a quilt. But I don't do that. I saved all my husband's Hawaiian shirts from when he would do bluegrass shows, thinking oh, that would make a nice quilt, you know, but I haven't done it. Okay, let me continue with this video. It took a while to get the computer um, charged up. Here's another little hat. That one got worn quite a bit by my oldest daughter, and I think my youngest too. And here's another cute little dress. I think my mother made this one. Using the pattern that she used when I was a little girl. Making clothes for me and my sister. And this little dress, denim dress, just plain with a zipper in the back and long sleeves. And another little sweater. Love those little sweaters with a little hoodie on it. Oh, and Ramona bought this for my oldest daughter. Can you see the smocking on there? That takes a lot of talent to do that smocking. I think I would not have the patience for smocking. But it certainly is pretty. Let me see. Oh, and this little coat. It is blue corduroy. The inside has a little gingham check. It's got little fake pockets on the side, little buttons. All those little sweet memories of my kids wearing assorted clothing and a cute little bib. You think about all the clothes you get for your kids. These are just very few. And this little outfit. What do you, like a onesie or something? You know, for like when they're like 1 or 2 or under 18 months. Another little jumper. I like those little simple outfits. And another little dress that my mother made. You know, I at one point had let my youngest daughter use some of those clothes to dress her dolls. She was interested in dolls for just a short period of time. And my youngest daughter's good about, if she doesn't need it anymore or it's not useful to her, she'll get rid of it. She was cleaning out her room one day and she had all this stuff in a bag to throw away or give to Goodwill. And some of these little dresses that my mother had made were in there. Yeah, I said, these, you can't throw these away. And so she brought them. She finished cleaning her room and brought me all the stuff. I had said, this grandmother made this. So after that, I told her, I said, I'm gonna just take the things that I wouldn't want you to get rid of, and I'll put them away. And everything else in your room is yours to decide what you want to do with it. I mean, this is like when she was 8 years old, and she, she would get rid of stuff, and I wouldn't say a word because those were her things. People had given her or things that she had bought. She had saved up her money and bought one of those American dolls, American Girl dolls. And she she got tired of it, and she was gonna give it to Goodwill. I said, let's find somebody to give that to. So we did find. I gave it to Ramona's granddaughter, I think. So yeah, if your child wants to throw away things, let them do it. You know. So, and then this little hat right here, a friend of mine had it made for my oldest daughter. It has her name knitted in the top. And a little pair of shoes. I mean, that's, newborn type shoes. Okay, now you know about those little hats the babies get at the hospital. Those little knit hats. There's a company out there that makes all those little receiving blankets and little hats for babies. All my children were born with big heads like their daddy. So these little hats never fit on them. My oldest daughter weighed 9'6", and she looked like a 3-month-old baby next to the other little newborns there in the nursery at the hospital. So let's see. Let me put some of this stuff back. That was just I went to the fabric store, bought the material, and then just stuffed it and let that go. This little dog, that belonged to my son. He just about wore it out. Little lamb. Plays a little song. My daughter's bunny from when she was 5 years old. My cousin Woodine gave that to her. Okay. Now for a while, I was interested in, I think it was home interior. And you could have parties, and then you could, get merchandise for giving the parties. And these little bears were part of that, the things you could get. And I would get them for my oldest daughter. There's another one of those little bears, all dressed up. A little Raggedy Ann. I don't even know where that came from. Oh, let's be modest. She has no clothes. Little Barbie. My oldest daughter, she played with Barbies for a little while. But my girls weren't that interested in dolls, Little Hot Wheel. Ah, little rattle. I believe my aunt and uncle, my mother's sister and husband, gave this to my oldest daughter when she was born. Oh, big lamb. And a little bunny. And another little bunny. Now, I'm putting all those back. I don't know. My children come along and they'll look in this thing, and I know they'll throw them away. I know my youngest daughter will. But in the meantime, I'm gonna I'm going to keep them. My sister made this. She made this for the Barbie doll. It was an evening gown. Oh, and I know exactly where this needs to go. My aunt, my mother's sister, bought my daughter a little doll from, I think it was Hong Kong. And this goes on that little doll. I'll keep that out. I know where the doll is. I can put it on there. And another little dress. Oh, and this was another little shirt that went with the doll that my aunt got from Hong Kong. I'll put those two together. It's one of the bear's hats. Gosh, you know, it's my oldest daughter will be 41 this year. And I can remember some of these things. You know, most of them, but some of them are fading fast. Now, let me see if I can close it. I might be able to close it, but not all. It's a little loose. But that's okay. When I pile all that other stuff back on there, it will keep it down. Well, that's all I have. I will get this edited because I'm sure it's a long video. This chicken right here, it's made out of redwood, and my youngest daughter, she drew a chicken, and my ex-son-in-law cut it out, and she gave it to me for Christmas. And it's made from the redwood siding that used to be on this house before I had vinyl siding put on it. But yeah, just a little folk art. Okay, I'll see y'all. Y'all have a good evening, a good day, a good afternoon, and please remember to be kind to someone. Someone needs your kindness today. Bye.